Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Maria. Today we are making a DIY snowman candle holder. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is a long 2x4 that I had cut in half. I used the other half of this on the previous project. So this was something that I was going to get rid of, but I figured I can do something with it, which is what I'm doing now. So I had these two extra pieces on the side that were cut into 4 inches each. I used that to measure this out the way to make the lines as to where I was going to put them. So at first I wanted to put them behind it just like this, but then I changed my mind and I felt like it looked better with it on top of the bottom piece rather than behind it. And since I had enough space to put the small tea light candles in the front, that's why I ended up putting it on top. So after I did that, I make the circles where I'm going to put the tea light candles because I want them to go inside the wood rather than to sit on top of the wood. And I was going to make the holes. Well, I'm going to make the holes for that in a second. So after I was done making the circles on the wood, marking where I'm going to make the holes, I then grabbed the other two small pieces and I lined them up on the side, and then I make the line there as to where I'm going to cut that, because then that other half becomes two pieces that I'm going to cut of 8 inches each. So it's 2 8 inches and 2 4 inches. So there's 4 pieces. And then the bottom piece is 14 inches long. I know it doesn't really make any sense, but the 2x4 was actually 2x3.5, not 2x4. But in height, it was 4 inches. But I guess from left to right, it wasn't. But I ended up measuring that out, and then that's how it turned out. So the bottom piece, when I made the circles, I got a brand new like a tool set that I wanted to use to make the holes, but it didn't come with the bit for it, so I had to use that other piece to make the holes on it, which actually took me 3 tries. But it's fine because I was still able to make the holes for the tea light candles. So moving forward, I ended up using white paint that I had on hand when I painted my walls this summer, and I used that to paint the 2x4s instead of using the other paint that I had, because I felt like this one would have been better, and it actually was a lot better to do this instead of using the other paint. I guess because it's thicker. It's the eggshell that I used on my interior walls, so I think it just was going to be better. So I painted everything white, and then I used my heat gun to dry it up a little bit. But I wanted to do the inside of the circle, so I grabbed a paintbrush and I did the inside of the circles. So after I was done with that, I do let that dry overnight, and then the next day I move on to the next step of this. Okay, so like I said, I let this dry overnight, and then I was putting the pieces on top, but I didn't want to glue them because I, storage reasons, to be more clear, storage reasons, I wanted to be able to take it apart after. So what I did was I had squares left over from like little coasters that I did. So I made the holes on the back of this, and then I put them in place to hold them, the bottom piece with the top pieces together. It wasn't perfect, but you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to be against on top of a shelf, and it's the back side, so it's not like anybody else is going to see it. So I really didn't care that it wasn't perfect, but I could have cut the sides of it and I didn't, but you'll see later on a little bit more clear how that looks, if you can see there. But it didn't bother me, and this is for me, it's not for anybody. I'm not selling this piece, but it was something that I just did because I wanted to do it this way. But I could have clearly cut the sides of it. So I didn't measure it correctly, and that's how it turned out. Moving forward, I put the tape around the top because I wanted them to have hats. So I painted the hats in different colors, like where I taped off, and I did a red one. This is the DIY paints that I'm using. So I did the red Marquee, and then the skeleton key, and I used a letterpress gray, and this is the Hay Sailor, the blue color. And then if you see the pom-pom balls on the bottom of the screen, I did those with the yarn that I had on hand, and I just wrapped it around my finger, tied it up, and then cut the ends off of it to make it look like a pom-pom ball. So that's going to be the top of like their hats. And then I'm going to put the faces on once that's dry. Because after I did this, I did dry that a little bit because I wanted to put big top on it. And then to give it that shine on the hats. And after I do that, I do end up putting like the heat gun a little bit, but I do let this dry overnight as well. And then the next day I just finish it off. Okay, so this is the next day, 24 hours later, and I was lifting it up and it was starting to get stuck to the paper, but I pulled it out. But I was taking the tape off of this after it was completely dry, and on the blue side, the green tape got stuck in between the both pieces of wood. When I pulled it out, it kind of broke. So, like the tape, and I could have left it there, but it didn't look right because it had some green that I didn't cover. Of course, I wasn't meant to be covered. But it then also had the paint on the side too, but it looked like it was like onto the side of the wood, which I didn't want that to look like that. So I moved it to the side, of course, and I took that out. But here I am putting the faces on the pieces of wood. So each snowman has a face, and then I have the pom-poms on the side. Like I said, I made those with the yarn. I put them around my finger and I cut the ends off. So I end up doing this project that came to mind, and it took a little longer than expected because I did let it dry overnight, the white paint, and then after I painted the other half, like the hats on, I also let that dry overnight. So it did take a little longer, and then cutting the wood, that was a bit frustrating because I had this image in my head that I wanted to do, and I didn't have the right tool to do it. But it all worked out fine. I finished it the way I wanted to, and I thought it turned out really, really cute. I do have that on my shelf on the side of the door, like next to the door. So it looks really, really cute. Like I said, that back side would not be seen unless you watch this video and you come to my house. You know that that's what it looks like. But I use hot glue gun to glue the pom-poms on the top. I use a lot because I didn't want to put a little bit and then it wasn't going to stick like glue on there. So I do put a good amount, and then I put them on top of the colors top half because I want them to be like the hats of the snowman. But this turned out really, really cute. But in between, I was working on some other stuff while everything was drying, and that will be posted on next week's video. But if you stay to the end, thanks for watching. I hope you like it. I hope you try it. But I have a lot more to show you guys, so please like and subscribe for more videos. Till the next one. Bye.